Hey everyone, welcome to the premiere episode of The Squibbler Show, a podcast where we talk about all things Harry Potter, both in the magical and the muggle world alike. My name is Tejas, and I am delighted to talk to you today about Wizards Unite's 1-year anniversary. For those of you who don't know, Wizards Unite is an augmented reality mobile game created by Niantic, the same creators of Pokemon Go. And recently, it celebrated its 1 year since launch. Here with me today to talk about this very topic is one of the Wizards Unite YouTubers, or as they like to call themselves, WooTubers, who has been creating Wizards Unite content on YouTube since even before the game has launched. Please join me in welcoming Gitta from Gitta Lovegood. Hi Gitta, what's up?
Hi, how are you?
So I'm good. How are you?
Good,
Okay,
thanks.
just in case some of my audience doesn't know who you are, just give us a quick introduction of yourself.
I am Gitta Lovegood, and that is my channel name. It's Gitta for Gitta, and just Lovegood for, a hint at Luna.
Right, so today we're going to be talking about the 1 year anniversary of Wizards Unite.
Yes.
I can't believe it's been 1 year. And
1 year.
yeah. So I have a few questions for you. So
Okay.
let's dive right in. First one is, how do you feel has been the journey so far for Wizards Unite in this past 1 year?
Oh, man. I mean, on the whole, I'd have to say it was pretty good, and any kind of hiccups that they've definitely listened to the community really well compared to their other games, I feel. And they're always really quick to try to make things up and fix things, which I appreciate. What about you?
I think the community has been pretty amazing.
Yes.
I mean, I have hardly personally seen that many players physically, but I know across the world there are many people, and online we talk and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
YouTubers community as well. It's yeah, I think that's one of the best things that has come out of Wizards Unite.
For sure.
As for the gameplay itself, what do you
Okay.
think was the best feature in the last 1 year?
All right, so the features that we got were we got the gifts, we got the night bus, we were introduced with the trace tonic and adventure sync. We were able to turn off the gyroscope so people are able to do Portkeys without waving your phone around. But I think the most recent update was the best for long term, because being able to place stickers over and over again is extremely helpful. Like, especially because we have multiple pages that have challenge foundables that you have to grind out. And if you are trying to do that for one family, say that you have all of them done for one family, and then we get a whole new page. If you're completely done with those and you're trying to work on the challenge foundable for the new page, before you just were getting those fragments and doing nothing with them, and it felt like a complete waste and it was frustrating.
Yeah.
Now it doesn't. Now it's just like, okay, everything feels like it counts again, and it's really nice. It'd be nice if there was a pop-up like, are you trying to tap this image? Especially because if there is an image that you're waiting to prestige and trying to carry the fragments over, there's no way to tap that and see when you first saw it, or how many fragments you've seen, or how much family XP you'll get for tapping that. There's no way to see that right now if you're trying to just carry those fragments over. Especially being able to tap those challenge fragments over and over and over again and then when they're on gold, 12, it's so great.
We talked about the good stuff, now about the bad stuff. What is something that still bugs you to this day, or something new that came up that is bugging you right now?
It's gotten really, really apparent quickly with the night bus. And I did notice this before the night bus. I noticed this way back in November. That's why I started my little Fortresses 101 Basics series, that people just don't know things. And when I was playing Pokemon Go, I actually did this app where you play other games and then they give you points, and then you can build up the points for gift cards. So while I was playing all of those other mobile games, I realized that they do really intense and thorough breakdown. They could have implemented it where you have to go through a little tutorial of sorts where they teach you different things, and they require you to drag a strategic spell to yourself, where they require you to learn what the other professions can do and what you can only do, because I feel like there's like a lot of lack of knowledge on what you can do versus what the other professions can do. They tried, it's just lacking in the fortress area, I feel.
So Niantic recently tweeted that there's exciting things planned for the next 1 year. So what do you think is Niantic planning, and what are you expecting or hoping to see in the next 1 year?
I mean, there's definitely going to be like skill trees and things like that. I think it would be really nice if we got more foes to battle in the fortress. But there's one thing that we have known about since the beginning, and it's in the official guidebook that I've got like right here that they have never touched on. And they're called adversaries. And if you go into your challenge registry and you go to the very end, it's all of these like wanted posters that have multiple languages all over them. We have no idea what those are. And I would love to see maybe if they were like raids in Pokemon Go, where they're very group oriented and community building. That would be really nice. But I just want to know what they are and what they do. And I hope they're more than just the basilisk that we got for the Halloween event, because that felt like a big letdown if that's what adversaries were. I don't want that to be what they are. I wanted it to be something huge and new and magical and never before seen in Niantic games.
I actually forgot about this until you mentioned it just now.
There's random ones, like there's Barty Crouch Jr., there's Gilderoy Lockhart, there's the ancient Ukrainian Iron Belly dragon. Like there's a lot of random things and people that it would just be really fun to see.
Wizards Unite Fan Festival happened last year, and it's not happening this year, unfortunately, because of the COVID situation. But what was your experience like, and what do you think Niantic can do better going into next year's fan festival?
I will admit, just because I am a bit more introverted leaning, I was overwhelmed, but that was, I think, normal because it was the first fan fest. Now that I know what's going on, I feel like if I were to go to another one this year, I'd be much more prepared. As for what they could do to change things, so basically there were 4 different areas that you could go to, and each different area had different dragons, and you were supposed to go to one area for a certain set of tasks and then go to another area for a certain set of tasks. And in the middle of all of this, there was the threat clock, and it was like a physical clock. You can see people with pictures in front of it. And this clock was actually changing threats throughout the day. And it would randomly go to the emergency, like it would be randomly sitting at emergency. And when it sat at emergency, there were a bunch of red beam boundables everywhere from all of the different families. But the park was huge, and this was in the middle. The whole park was surrounded by tall trees and tall buildings. It was literally, there was no way that you could see across. So I think what would be really nice is if they do that again, have something on our screen where you can literally like tap it and see where the threat level is on that clock, and maybe even expand it, because I know they couldn't probably do that before because thousands of people would be trying to stand within such a small area. But if they could just make that area a bit bigger and let everybody know when it's happening, that would be really nice. That was my big complaint, was we never knew when it was on emergency unless you split up groups and you were texting each other.
You realize why I'm asking you this, because I wasn't there, and it was quite sad.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
It was such short notice. That was another problem I had, was 3 months. Like literally we got the game and the next week they announced FanFest. That's a bit fast turnaround for most people. I think we had Go Shiny Hunter was the only out of the country VTuber that made it. Another thing was I really expected there to be some way for us to do something. Like if we save this many dragons, then something big is going to happen in the storyline, or we reveal something big about what happened to Grimm. Anything. Nothing like that happened. It felt like the storyline was pointless. It felt like what we were doing didn't really matter. You know what I mean? We had some goals, but it was just to unlock Dragon Day. It wasn't to change the plot line, and I wanted it to change and move forward with the plot line. But hopefully next year.
Yeah, this storyline thing is a whole other video, which is why I didn't ask you any. I'm not going to ask you any storyline questions. So that's for some other guest speaker, some other day.
I feel you. Can't wait to hear that one.
Okay, this is a two-part question. One is, do you still play Pokemon Go? And how much of an impact do you think it has had on Wizards Unite, on the success or the not so much success of Wizards Unite?
I still play on and off, but mainly right now I just try to keep up with updates to compare, because I do feel like right now there are a lot of things that Wizards Unite got first that they are trying to implement over in Pokemon Go, and then I'm trying to keep up because I know that they obviously are going to do the same in reverse and try out things in Pokemon Go that they could implement in Wizards Unite. As far as the success or failure, it's hard to tell. I'd like to think that people will try to give another chance if they had bad feelings towards Pokemon Go. In the same regard, I do feel like there are plenty of people that were like, okay, I really like Niantic games, I love Pokemon Go, but I've been playing this for a few years, I want to try something new. And I feel like once they try Wizards Unite, they realize that it's very similar, but stepped up in a lot of ways as far as what you need to do for, what's the word, strategy.
Especially with fortress battles, I think that's way more complex than gym battles are in Pokemon.
Right, especially when you get into group battles and learning how to play with each other and which foes you're stronger against. There's a lot. And then the spells that come into play, yeah, it's fun.
You still have, what, 13 spells unlocked out of 20, right?
Yes, there's quite a few missing spells, quite a few missing potions. I think that's why we've been getting the increased ingredient capacity and potion capacity and spell energy. I think we're about to get new potions dropped. That's what it's, because the last time, when we got the Trace Tonic, they gave us more space for ingredients and potions. So I don't see why that wouldn't be hinting now.
We've mentioned the COVID-19 situation, and obviously because of this, play from home has become way more popular these days. How well do you think Niantic has handled this?
I think they've handled it really well, but I am a little bit more closer to the city than most people, so I can't speak from a rural standpoint, but I feel like they acted very quickly, and they have been trying very hard to listen to the community complaints. Right now, it is very easy to complete events from home, especially since if you finish the bonus assignments, they give you the 5 fragments for the Portkey. Most of the tasks that they are trying to ask us to complete deal with doing challenges, which is helpful since we have the night bus. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how things carry on, because I know the night bus is a permanent feature. Yeah. So, yeah.
So, speaking of the night bus, there's good and there's bad. The good thing is obviously, especially for rural players who don't have access to fortresses near them, obviously for them it's a really good option. And obviously now because of the COVID situation, it's excellent. But we know that this is a feature that's going to stay beyond COVID. So does this go against Niantic's goal, so to speak, where Niantic was like, go out and walk around and interact with other people?
Right. I have mixed feelings, because in this game, we are required to grind at fortresses a bit. There is definitely hours upon hours that you have to spend trying to complete certain stickers to prestige pages. So in that regard, I feel like it's very helpful. Sometimes it's not. There's some places where the fortresses are not necessarily easy to sit at, or you feel awkward sitting at them for long extended periods of time. Once all of the other things go away that they have changed, like the energy on the ground and not needing to hit inns anymore, I don't feel like we will be able to do that unless you're spending money. And you still, once things go back, we will get the tasks back for make sure you hit 3 inns in a day or 2 inns, whatever it was. And we will be required to walk a certain distance. I think we still have that, don't we?
Yeah, 0.25 kilometers.
Right.
Is it miles for you? Is it also kilometers?
It's kilometers.
Okay.
Yeah. It's different for us, but
okay.
we go with it. We figured it out how many steps it is. I feel like energy on the ground, even now, I'm still slowed down a little bit. You know, like I still can't just play for hours and hours and hours without stopping. I still have to wait and collect energy. And once the energy is no longer on the ground, that would mean go out and walk around and restock physically. And then just playing with groups. I feel like it is still a lot easier to do that, and there's still the incentive of going to sponsored locations. Last community day, I actually went to a sponsored location so that I could do Dark 5 with my boyfriend, and we wouldn't have to spend 20 minutes finding each other on the night bus. So there's still that incentive for me, and I'm sure for most people.
You mentioned that, especially in Fortress battling, there's a lot of hours that you have to grind. Do you feel that there is a so-called burnout from all these events and all this hours that you have to spend on the grind? Because personally I do, and I don't play the game that much now as I used to, like when the game first came out, but
Right.
I'm still feeling the burnout. Are you feeling it?
Personally, I learned how to manage my burnout in Pokemon Go. I went really hard in that, and so I learned how to pace myself with games in general, especially these types of games. This year, I feel like it was hard because we had something that happened in December. I believe it was an in-game glitch that was going to cause a lot of people not to be able to play, that made them push an event, and that made 1 month have an extra event. And then the same thing happened with COVID. Once COVID hit, they were like, oh, how are we going to do community day? They canceled it, they pushed it. So considering those things that would not normally have happened so close together that did, yeah, I do feel like there were a lot of things very close together. It is a lot, but I remember wanting more events in Pokemon Go. I feel like it's back and forth, and I do feel like COVID pushing that community day in the beginning of the year, having to have that extra community day, like I feel like it was just a lot that built up, and it does feel like a lot. That was just a lot of makeup on their part that was not intentionally, like, originally planned. But at the same time, I do feel like they're amping things up to give people stuff to do at home, which is also nice. Like, if you are truly stuck at home, I definitely turn to Wizards and do that fortress grinding in the night bus on my really sad days. Like these really hard days recently where there's just so much going on in the world and my brain is just like screaming at me for a break. I do just throw on Disney Channel and open up the night bus and grind out, and it helps my brain a lot. And it's a nice thing to have, to be able to turn to that for a little mental break here and there.
Okay. Oh, what a nice way to end this episode today. Thank you very much, Gitta, for answering all these questions. It was lovely having you. But
thank you for having me.
Before you go,
okay,
we have a fun little segment that I'm planning to do in each of these episodes going forward. Since
okay.
this is the first episode, you don't know about this. But basically, this segment is called the Fiendfyre Segment.
Okay.
So it's basically appropriately named because it's a rapid fire round. Okay. And I'm going to ask you 3 questions. I'm going to give you 25 seconds to answer them. 3, 2, 1. In the Deathly Hallows book, there was a radio show hosted by Lee Jordan. What is the name of this show?
I've got it at the tip of my tongue. Potter Watch?
Yes, correct. What is the password required to join that episode that we saw in the book?
Lightning bolt? No. What was it? It's been too long.
Too long. It's already like a minute long. The answer
What is it?
Albus. Albus.
Albus.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think I would have gotten that.
All right. You've already lost, but I might as well ask you the third question.
All right.
What was Fred Weasley's code name on the show? Okay, I'll give you multiple choice questions.
Okay, thanks.
Was it rodent, rapier, or river? All of these
Rodent.
three were used, by the way.
Rodent.
No, it was
No?
rapier.
I had it in my head that
Rodent
it was
was-
like some
rodent
sort of
was
mouse.
Rodent was George.
Oh.
They had that moment where
Dang it.
you're talking to me, you're not talking to
Dang it. Oh, well, that was really fun.
Yeah.
What a fun little pop quiz. I'm going to have to like brush up on all
Yeah.
of my trivia.
All right.
Thank you so much for having
Thank you
me.
so
This was so much fun. So looking forward to it and can't wait to see your following episodes.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for watching the premiere episode of The Squibbler Show. That was Gitta from Gitta Lovegood. Please show your love to her by subscribing to her YouTube channel. I'll be leaving a link to it in the description box down below. If you have any topics in mind that you'd like to see me discuss in future podcasts, then leave your suggestions in the comment section down below. I'll see you next week for another episode of The Squibbler Show. Until then, stay safe and bye-bye.